Welcome to this overview of PennDOT's Publication 740. This video tutorial will focus on Chapter 2, Planning and Programming. PennDOT is responsible for the Commonwealth's transportation system. The Transportation Program Development and Project Delivery Process, Publication 10, Design Manual 1, addresses the high demand placed on Pennsylvania's transportation network. This process applies limited transportation funding to existing infrastructure first, preserves existing capacity, focuses on smart land use decisions, and programs projects based on realistic scheduling and cost estimates. During the preliminary transportation planning phases, PennDOT and its planning partners, Metropolitan Planning Organizations, MPOs, and Rural Planning Organizations, RPOs, work together to develop the MPO and RPO's Long-Range Transportation Plans, LRTP. The Fiscally Constrained Minimum 20-Year Planning Horizon, LRTPs, are the basis for development of a list of prioritized projects to be placed on the region's 4-year Transportation Improvement Program, TIP. These regional TIPs are incorporated into the statewide TIP, STIP. The STIP and the TIP are the official federal programming documents. PennDOT's official state programming document is the 12-year program, TYP, which includes 12 years of prioritized projects. Only those projects or phases of projects in the first 4-year period of the TYP are approved to proceed and receive funding. More information is available in this chapter and in Publication 10, Design Manual 1, Transportation Program Development and Project Delivery Process. PennDOT's Transportation Program Development and Project Delivery Process uses a quality-of-life approach to develop transportation solutions that support economic, social, and environmental goals. The process supports principles such as community reinvestment, environmental stewardship, and mode choice. PennDOT's goal is for a transportation system that provides choice and convenience and is coordinated with the way the community lives and grows. Specific features include transit-oriented development, making walking a priority, bicycle-friendly communities, and better roads designed to fit community needs. To that end, and to assist with evaluating and prioritizing potential projects, PennDOT has defined the following 10 core principles. 1. Money counts. Cost estimates must be as accurate as possible, and projects must be fundable under current fiscal constraints. 2. Choose projects with high value to price ratio. The degree of improvement must be justifiable based on need, fit within the community, and amount of investment. 3. Enhance the local network. Utilize existing alignments and right-of-way where possible. Better manage existing capacity and access. 4. Look beyond level of service, LOS. Fit the solution to project need, community roadway type, and project complexity. 5. Safety first and maybe safety only. Safety is always the first goal, and for some projects, safety improvements may be all that are required. 6. Accommodate all modes. Consider solutions that address all modes of travel, including vehicular, bicycle, pedestrian, transit, and rail. 7. Leverage and preserve existing investments. Existing infrastructure should be maintained and improved first. 8. Build towns, not sprawl. Consider local planning and investments in existing infrastructure. 9. Understand the context. Plan and design within the context. Respect the community character, how the existing roadway is used, and understand place. 10. Develop local governments as strong land use partners. Integrate local land and use planning with transportation planning. Encourage local involvement in the process. These core principles are supported by the December 2016 PennDOT Connects policy, PennDOT Connects. PennDOT Connects requires PennDOT collaboration with local municipalities, counties, and planning partners prior to a project being placed on the TIP. This early coordination is meant to identify local issues, needs, or resources that might affect the project's scope of work. The intent is that these issues, or needed improvements, can possibly be worked into a project scope and budget if they are identified before the project is funded. Additional information can be found in PennDOT Connects, Publication 10A, Design Manual 1A. State and federal funding can be applied only to projects that meet certain eligibility requirements. Requirements differ based on the funding source. In general, for a project to be eligible for federal funding, It must be on the TIP and/or LRTP. For projects to utilize state funding, it must be on the TIP and TYP. In addition, bridge projects must also be included in the bridge bill. A project reimbursement agreement, see Chapter 3, Project Management Processes of the LPD Manual, is required with PennDOT in order for local project sponsors to obtain state and/or federal funding for a project. This project RA is developed using RAS, one of PennDOT's online systems, discussed in more detail in Chapter 3 of Publication 740. The agreement will remain in effect for 4 years and will allow for an extension with detailed justification if needed. If no activity occurs within a 4-year timeframe, the project reimbursement agreement will be terminated. Also, for projects that do not start right-of-way acquisition or construction within 10 years, the provisions of the federal regulations contained in 23 CFR 630.112 Highways Agreement Provisions, which require return of funds to FHWA, may apply. Various funding options are available for local projects, including the National Highway Performance Program, Surface Transportation Block Grant, the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and others. It is important to note that these funding sources, excluding loans from the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Bank, PIB, are cost reimbursement programs, not grants. Also, in most cases, the local project sponsor will have to provide some cost share match for the design and construction funding, typically between 5% and 20%. Historically, federal law placed limits on both the types and sources of contributions that could satisfy the matching requirements. However, more recent provisions introduced new flexibility, Flexible Match Program, to the federal aid highway program's matching requirements by allowing donation credits, certain public donations, and toll credits, revenues generated by public, quasi-public, and private agencies that provide transportation facilities for interstate commerce, to satisfy the non-federal matching requirements. Eligibility for and use of donation and toll credits can vary from project to project, including how they must be documented. More information is available in Chapter 2 of Publication 740. A thorough understanding of how a local project must be programmed to be eligible for state and federal funding is a critical first step. Following programming and funding, local project sponsors must be sure they understand the requirements of the funding source and the project reimbursement agreement, or there is a risk of losing funding. Also, knowing what can count towards a local match and the source of the match is critical to ensuring a good start to developing a local project. Thank you for viewing this tutorial. The next video tutorial in this series will focus on Chapter 3, Project Management Processes.